I've said on many occasions of these Star Trek review videos that there's recurring themes or elements of plot that they keep going back to, most notably the omnipotent alien or godlike entity, what have you. But another one is finding out that God is a computer or something along those lines. And that's the case with Return of the Archons. And basically the plot, Kirk and the Enterprise head over to this planet, Beta something or other, I forget, where the USS Archon was lost. And apparently this was, I don't know, nearly 100 years ago or something like that. And they go to this planet wondering whatever became of that ship. And Sulu is a part of a landing party down below, and he's the only one to make it back to the ship. But by the time he gets back to the ship, he's, one of the body or whatever. There's this weird cult that dominates the society on this planet. And there's these people called lawgivers, and they zapped Sulu, and now he's part of this cult that worships a man, apparently, or a prophet or what have you, who's really become their god, called Landru. And he's the founder of their society for centuries ago. And the appearance of it is that they, for whatever reason, they all look like people from the late 1800s and this sort of thing. And they're, hello, friend, all is well with Landru and all this sort of crap. If you're not acting like one of them, then they get very agitated. Are you not of the body? I took that line of "you are not of the body," for a t-shirt design I made where I actually used characters from the Body Snatchers, which is kind of the same idea of people who, you're not thinking correctly. And so if you want to get one of those, you can head over to the store and pick up my t-shirt of taking characters from that with the line from Star Trek. Anyway, that's off the point. So they're there, and so Kirk and his crew decide they go down and see if they can find anybody left from the landing party and figure out what the hell this is all about. And they arrive and they meet some of the people, and then they keep telling them, oh, so you've come for the festival. And they're like, yeah, but the festival, it turns out, is a moment of where everyone gets to act out in brutal violence and orgies. And they just start doing it in the middle of the street, and Kirk and everybody's like, holy crap. So they dash into a nearby hotel, I guess, and there's these guys in there. They're not participating in it, but one of them says, hey, you're young men, you should be out there, raping and stuff. And it becomes obvious to one of them that, hey, these guys are different. And he's part of a resistance to this bizarre cult-like thing, which is done through some sort of technological means of brainwashing. But for whatever reason, a couple of these guys are resistant to this treatment, and it doesn't work on them. So he refers to them as the Archons, which refers back to the guys from the starship Archon. And they apparently tried to do something about this and ended up probably being killed or absorbed into the society, brainwashed into it. And that's that. And of course, being 100 years ago, they've died off since then, but still. So now they know what happened to them, more or less, but they got to get out. Now, the deal of the starship, what happened to it? Well, Landru and the technology of Landru was able to destroy it, and it's now trying to destroy the Enterprise. They can't escape, but they're trying to resist these, heat waves, they call them, or whatever, bombarding the Enterprise, and Kirk's got to figure out how to shut off Landru in order to save the ship. And of course, he does. But not before McCoy, too, gets brainwashed into the body. And, but of course, Kirk is brought into there to also get brainwashed. But lucky him, one of the resistance guys is working the machine and lets him go. And then Spock, same thing. And they eventually make their way to the holiest of holies of where Landru is supposed to be, I don't know, sitting in his room thinking up crap when really he's long dead. It's just a machine. And they tried to phaser it, but it's able to negate their phasers. And so once again, Kirk has to outsmart the computer, which he does, and the computer in a logic battle destroys itself. And so there you go. Yay, we're free. The problem is, this is a violation of the Prime Directive. And Kirk says, well, only in a living society. This is an imprisoned society with a computer. Well, no, that doesn't quite work. The idea of being said, well, he had to in order to save the ship and everything is like, no. So it doesn't quite work. He does violate the Prime Directive here, even though, oddly enough, the way he defeats the computer is by arguing that the computer defeated its Prime Directive to destroy evil, because he convinces the computer, you were evil. So, but when it comes to comparisons of Kirk and the other captains, most notably Captain Picard, who is more loyal to the Prime Directive, you got to go with Picard in a lot of these reasons, even though you perfectly understand Kirk's motivations here, and would probably do the exact same thing he did. But still, well, certainly this is one of the more clear examples of that. Even though Spock says, "Hey, come on, it's a violation of the Prime Directive," and Kirk's like, "Who's in charge here, Spock?" "Yeah, that's right, me." So, but an interesting episode, and a way of which you could imagine somebody wanting to do just that. And I mean, the type of mindset that would, want to subject people to be treated like pets more than people, and dominated and controlled by an artificial god that was created as a result of this computer, hidden behind a curtain or wall, however you want to put it. And there you go. And then Kirk shows up and just blows the whole thing up. And then they split, and they leave a couple of the guys behind to kind of help them out. But gee, what a mess. I don't know. They were 6,000 years or whatever it was, and now they're like, there's no Landru. I think it would be a lot harder than they make it out. And Kirk hops on the Enterprise. Let's move on. But anyway, there you go. Speaking of wondering what would happen to some of these worlds afterwards, we got one that did get that answered within the movie series. That would be Space Seed. So we'll finally get to that one. The next classic Star Trek episode that I'll review here on the Nailsin Ratings. Thank you for watching and listening. Say, why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my many stores that have plenty of goodies for you. Like that t-shirt I talked about. And of course, my comic book Night over at IndiePlanet.com. You can also check out the Mr. Nailsin Show podcast on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute, the Mr. Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.